United States, where former United States Vice President Mike Pence has officially entered the 2024 presidential race. He will face off against his former boss, Donald Trump, in the fight for the White House, and in this case, the fight for the Republican ticket when it comes to the presidential elections. Mike Pence, the former Vice President of the United States, has thrown his hat into the ring. He will take on Donald Trump for the Republican ticket to become the presidential candidate in the run-up to the 2024 presidential elections. Now, Mike Pence has entered that race. Remember, there was a lot of discord between Donald Trump and Mike Pence in the wake of the previous elections where we saw the assault on the Capitol building. Remember, when the Capitol building was assaulted, a lot of Donald Trump supporters were shouting outside saying, "Hang Mike Pence," because Donald Trump has said that if Mike Pence wanted as vice president, he could overturn the elections, because Donald Trump, remember, claimed there was widespread rigging when it comes to the previous elections, which he lost to current President Joe Biden. But now, Mike Pence throwing his hat into the ring, he will take on Donald Trump when it comes to the Republican ticket for the race towards the White House, which has already kicked off for that matter, where Ron DeSantis has also entered the race for the Republican ticket to take on Donald Trump for the Republican nomination for the presidential race. Remember, for now, Donald Trump is leading the charge when it comes to the majority of Republican voters. But now Mike Pence as well as Ron DeSantis have thrown their hats into the ring. I'm joined by my colleague Abhishek Jha, who's getting us this piece of breaking news. Abhishek, so a big announcement coming in from the United States. Mike Pence, the VP to Donald Trump, now will take on his former boss. But when it comes to appealing to the MAGA base, the Trump base, they will now completely turn on him. Donald Trump will turn up the heat on Mike Pence when it comes to the fight for the Republican ticket. We all remember those visuals from outside the Capitol building where Trump supporters were shouting, "Hang Mike Pence."
Ashman, we can look at this whole development in a different way also, because the Donald Trump even now presents a very radical face of the Republican side, while Mike Pence for all the event that has happened in the Capitol, and later when we got to know a lot about who acted in what way, Mike Pence sounds like a little moderate among Republicans. So not necessarily that Mike Pence will be the vote bank what Donald Trump has, but still it's going to be very interesting, because now it is three candidates are very much in the fray. Mike Pence, Donald Trump, his former boss in a way, and we have Joe Biden also going for the race for 2024 elections. So clearly big wigs of U.S. politics are going to be in the fight for the next presidential election, and the kind of political scenario that is evolving in USA. Earlier it was believed that Kamala Harris could also be one of the contenders while the elections were still fresh last time. But now it doesn't look like Kamala Harris is going to be the next candidate also, because now already Joe Biden has announced his candidature. There are other candidates also, but still a very interesting time. We'll have to see how in the next few months few more candidates may announce their candidature or their aspirations to run for the presidential election for 2024.
Right, and at the same time, as you're pointing out, Abhishek, Mike Pence, entering the race, it's a different dynamic that he brings to the entire race. But Donald Trump, there came a point where he wasn't very sharp with his language against Mike Pence. Remember, he till this day blames Mike Pence for losing the previous elections to Joe Biden, saying that Mike Pence had the power to overturn the elections. Now, clearly, because Donald Trump still hasn't conceded the entire presidential fight, now he will sharpen his language. But at the same time, will Mike Pence respond in kind and also sharpen his language against Donald Trump? Because even after the Capitol riots, when Donald Trump supporters were shouting, "Hang Mike Pence," he still did not openly attack Donald Trump for unleashing the mob on the U.S. Capitol.
So we can expect that a lot of, those past rivalry and what, transpired during those, intense few hours where the Capitol Hill was being stormed by the supporters of Donald Trump. What went through, because during the election campaign, people are going to ask questions and they are going to, criticize each other, and then they are going to reveal things also. So, in fact, Mike Pence will still be sounding a little more moderate, that he tried to protect the democratic setup and the value of USA, and he did not budge despite the pressure coming from his boss, then President Donald Trump. So this is something that is going to cash on when he will be campaigning across USA against Donald Trump, while Donald Trump will continue to criticize him for not obeying him or letting the rigging happen across the USA, which cost him the presidential election. Apparently, in Donald Trump's view, Mike Pence can always stand that he has stood by the side of institution, and this is one allegation that Democrats have always put against Republicans, that they don't respect institutions, they don't respect democratic values and openness and transparency. So Mike Pence can very well defend himself in that way, that he has always stood by the institutions, and this is why, despite all the pressure, he did not budge and let the democratic process take over. What happened during the Capitol riots, we know that Mike Pence was very instrumental in not letting things go worse. He, in fact, called the security. He was in touch with the people. He did not declare the rigging the way Donald Trump wanted. So clearly, those are the probably aspects that Mike Pence would like to cash upon while he will be campaigning for his presidential race for 2024.
Right, the political campaign will only get sharper. Thank you, Abhishek, for joining us on the broadcast with that piece of breaking news. Shifting